Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 623 of the DrunkNerds podcast. As always, I'm Tyler, and joining me, we have the man, the myth, the legend himself, Sir Colonel Gables. What's up, buddy?
I am doing fairly good. All things considering, this past week has been rather busy. Yeah, same old, same old. But at the same time, it ended on an awesome note. And that's because Evo, the whole popular tournament scene going on this weekend, from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. A lot of fun stuff happening there. Lots of interesting stuff as well, including there's a game that I'm currently playing now that was stealth dropped today, but we'll get more into that as the news goes on a little bit later here. But other than that, man, it's like I've been doing all right for myself. I mean, it's the same old song and dance, getting stuff done around the house, getting stuff done at work. I have been doing my best to play certain games. I mean, I've been pretty much knee deep in playing little bits of oh god, Retro Bowl again on Switch. Started to exhaust myself with that now, but it's one of those spurts now. It's like now that I found an interesting like football game that I really want to play and stuff, and then I play that for a while. It's like I need to take a rest from
Yeah,
it. But that's pretty much it though for me. How have you been, Tyler?
fantastic, Gables.
Yeah.
Fan-fucking-tastic. Um, People don't know, if you've been living under a rock somewhere, one of the greatest video games of all time, Gables, is back. College Football 25 is back. I'm so happy. It's everything I hoped and dreamed for. I'm doing pretty good, clanging and banging as always, but it's pretty hard to have a down week outside of I made let's people have major tragedies or major issues going on in the world, but like as far as like a week to week thing,
Hmm.
all time great week right here. Just College Football 25 is back, first time in 11 years. It's back, and I'll talk about it a little bit later. But man, I'm so happy it's back, man. I'm so happy it's back. It feels good. It feels great. I'm very happy about it. But yeah, I'm doing all right. Just like I said, clanging and banging as always. But yeah, voice is being a little weird right now. I don't know why. I don't know if like I'm losing it or what. I feel like there's like a little frog in my throat, so I apologize. Get a little weird throughout. Like I've been fine all day, and all of a sudden, last few hours or so, it's just been kind of getting a little raspy. I'm not sure what's going on there, so I will apologize if throughout the show, like get cuts in and out or whatever. But anyways, this is the Drunk Nation podcast where Gables and I get together every week, talk about video games, everything we love about them. New show always goes up on Sunday mornings, unless there's like some like special thing going on out there. Then typically we will adjust. But most weeks, it's Sunday morning. Comes out YouTube, podcast services. We're on all of those places. Please check us out. Links down below in the description for Spotify, and, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube and everything like that. So if you're on those places, make sure you hit that follow, subscribe on YouTube, thumbs up, 5 stars, leave comments, shares with your friends and stuff like that. Do all that. We really would appreciate it if you can help us out. We're just two guys, but we have full-time jobs. We just do this for fun. We do it for a little over 11 years
Yep.
now. So if you can just do us a little favor, and we'd really appreciate it. Our subscriber base is going up on YouTube at a pretty fast rate for us. We're over 420 now, so that's pretty exciting. So getting ever closer to that 1,000, where we can actually like make a little bit of like ad revenue on this thing. So maybe Gables and I could buy like a cup of coffee from Starbucks once a year or something.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, that'd be nice.
yeah, I'll take. Hey, it's more than we've pretty much ever gotten on this fucking thing. So we appreciate it. That'd be great. Like I said, we don't get ads, we don't get anything like that. Every now and again, we get lucky and we might get a code for something, but mostly we pay for all the games and stuff like that. We and all the equipment, everything in here, we pay for ourselves. So it'd be great if you help us out in that way and support us a little bit. Um, we don't ask for money or anything. We just ask for your time. So, yeah, anyways, though, this like I said, this is a video game podcast, and we're still kind of in this weird like doldrums like of the summertime where like I've talked about the last couple podcasts where it's just like it feels like we are like um, ever more so than ever like we are like in the weird like that E3 like back in our E3 era of like of news like we get everything in like June, the first half of June. We maybe get a couple little things that are kind of like follow ups from some stuff that happened at E3,
Mm.
and then it was just kind of like nothing for like news
Yeah.
wise. And it's been kind of that, but we've got a few things. We got a few things this week that are pretty exciting, but some of these are like I think more personable than like kind of big huge news. But we'll jump into this one right off the bat here, Gables. So we talked about last week the Nintendo put out that little teaser thing for what is Emio. We got the news. They dropped it out. And I thought about this last week. I was kind of hoping they wouldn't drag us on too long because I felt like if it went on too long, it would like you know, it was something smaller or something different than we were. I think people, you know, hype builds over time. So, and I, you know, it,
Right.
you know, they took, I think it was about a week in between the tease and the actual video. It was like a weird 3.5 minute like interview with like a few snippets of gameplay in there. But come to find out, it's Smiling Man Famicom Detective Club. So the lead scenario writer and series creator Yoshio Sakamoto, I believe I said that right, revealed he is the producer for the latest entry in the franchise for the first time in 30 years. Some of the story stuff here is players control an assistant private investigator who is looking into the murder of a student who fell victim to Emio, the Smiling Man. This is a sequel to Famicom Detective Club, The Missing Heir, and The Girl Who Stands Behind. Those initially came out way back in the, I think that was like, what was that, early 90s, give or take? Late 80s?
It was because this was a Japan only franchise at one
It was on the
point. You
discs
know,
too, wasn't
Famicom
it?
Detective Club was on like yeah, they were on Famicom discs and they were basically sort of like visual novels, sort of like games and stuff like that, to where you pretty much chose like certain you chose like text to dialogue and stuff, but it was pretty much like a mystery kind of visual novel in that retrospect back in the early 90s. What's more interesting in terms of how this was presented, you know, it's like at first when that Emio trailer was released by Nintendo, we're like thinking, what the hell is this? They're actually doing a horror game in the style of like a horror game or something like that.
Yeah.
But it definitely felt to like some to be a letdown when it eventually turned out to be like Famicom Detective Club. But at the same point, the reason why they were that some gamers kind of felt that way is they thought there was something like incredibly like say new, different, or something like that, not just some like verbatim like say visual novel s sort of like thing and stuff. But it doesn't mean this game's going to be bad by
Yeah.
any means.
No.
It's just a lot of people's expectations were like just blown out of proportion when this thing was first shown. Be- but yeah, personally with this whole the Emio, the whole Smiling Man stuff, the Famicom Detective Club stuff, I mean, it's fascinating to see them going back to the well from a franchise that was pretty much Japan only for the past 30 something years and then put a new entry thing. I know like a couple of years back Nintendo put like the Famicom Detective Club digitally on the
It was a
Switch
full blown
and
remake.
I
Yeah.
there were full blown like remakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were full blown remakes and stuff, and I guess that got enough support to where they had a new entry
Yeah.
inside that franchise, which that's a really good testament to how well the Switch was or has been doing in general to where old franchises that they thought were long dead getting revived, getting new entries.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a positive that we can take out of this in terms of the actual trailer itself. I mean, yeah, there's a little bit more to be desired. There wasn't really too much of it shown, probably because they don't want to like spoil any major plot points or something of the actual story of it, since visual novel story elements are the most important things to keep under wraps.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's kind of hard to like make these type of games like exciting in the trailer, I guess too. So it's like some like watching like some of those like almost like a Command and Conquer, like trying to like make those look exciting. It's like it's kind of hard, you know.
Yeah.
It's like you can only do so much. So I get that. Yeah, and like you said, it's all based on story. So like you gotta be really careful about like the little slides and stuff you show here and there. So
Another positive we can look at is like, well, they didn't Nintendo didn't drag this on for like months on end and
yeah,
stuff. And another thing is this game's going to be releasing relatively
August
soon, like in
29th.
around August.
Yeah,
Yeah, August 29th. So it's like pretty much a little over a month from now.
yeah,
So it's going to be interesting in seeing when that game eventually comes out to see the reviews of it, cuz I know for a fact I do enjoy playing some visual novel stuff, maybe some horror stuff to some degree, maybe not a lot of it. I just want more good visual novel stuff just to hit so that way like they're easy to enjoy. You can like spend like about maybe a couple hours just going through some aspects of them and then like nothing like really strenuous or anything of that sort.
yeah,
But yeah, I'm just highly curious to see how this game's going to be.
yeah. Yeah. I'm be one of those people that was kind of disappointed in the sense of like it was just like I think the marketing behind just like doing the little teaser last week definitely got everybody talking
Hmm.
and like it definitely like if this was something at like that was just at the direct. Like I get it, like it puts more eyeballs on it this way, but it's also kind of like it kind of like a build up that kind of just like I think let most people down because like yeah, visual novels are a very niche part of, like, for gamers. That's a very niche area. Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of, I don't know. It's like, it's just one of the things. Like, I'm not saying they're bad. Like, it's just they're not, definitely. I think they're not a thing that we normally play. Like, I've tried to get into them. Like, I've played. Like, there's been a lot of, like, these are like really popular. Like, a lot of indie games are like this. Like, there's a lot of indie visual novels that like review really really well. And like, I'll try to play like the best
Yes.
ones. And it's just like, this is just not for me.
They take a lot of times to get through, some of the times. I know I've tried to play through and finish the game Steins Gate.
Yeah.
That game has been prevalent. I remember playing it like on the Vita. That's the first way I experienced it, the Vita. It's kind of like one of those stories and stuff where it's kind of like a slow burn type of aspect of it, but I have set it aside like at least a couple different times though because I have to be in a mood to really get into that state because when you play like visual novels, sometimes it could feel like an actual TV show or something or an actual like comic book, interactive like comic book or
Mm.
something. Only thing is you choose certain choices based upon what character stuff. I think the only thing that I really have played that's sort of akin to that, that's sort of like comedy esque though, is like How to Fool Boyfriend because it's
Oh
sort of like a
yeah.
visual novel in and of itself, but it's like tongue in cheek,
Yeah.
but fairly memorable.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just kind of crazy, like them doing like someone looked it up. There's only been like 9 games that Nintendo's put out that are like M-rated, so it's pretty rare for them, which is
Yes.
more than I thought. We were talking about last week. I'm like, and I looked them up. I can't remember. I can't remember. I forgot, but like totally forgot like the Bayonetta 2 and 3 and shit like that. Like were M-rated games, stuff
Yep.
like, because we was like, oh, there's only a few, and like I was kind of shocked how many there actually were. So
So yeah, 9. I think another one's like Geist.
maybe, yeah. I thought Conker's Bad Fur Day was one, but I guess that's actually Rare actually.
That's rare.
Yeah, I published that one. So, yeah. So I don't know. I'm just I went from like, okay, like I'm definitely intrigued by this, by the mystery more so than anything of like, yeah, who's the smiling man? Then you get this, I'm like, okay, that quickly I'm out. And the fact that it's $50 too is like, made trouble. It's kind of like one of those things like we see like Metroid Dread come out and sell a few million copies, and like even though it's the best ever for
Yeah.
like a Metroid game, it's like problem is like that was a full price 2D Metroidvania game, and it's such a flooded market, and there's such a million great ones that come out, not a million, but like there's like it feels like probably half dozen or so like actual like game of the year, game of the generation caliber 2D Metroidvanias that come out almost feels like every year. That's like, and those are like coming out for half the price of like a Metroid Dread. It's like it's kind of hard to like break through, especially in such like a like there's a million of those that come out. So I wonder if like that's gonna be the case because uh, these style of games are there's a ton of these they're out, especially on the Switch. Like those are really popular Switch games as well. So there's like typically
Yes, they are.
uh, I've seen a lot of them at like Nintendo Direct stuff, like these style of games being shown off there. So I'm curious how it'll do, especially it's a 30 year, it's a 30+ year old franchise making its first like. I know they had the remakes a few years ago, but I don't like. I vaguely remember them being announced, but I don't remember ever seeing them light the world on fire, or anything like
Mm.
that. So I'm a little surprised, but he did mention in the video that we got, the trailer we got, that them doing the remakes is what kind of sparked them to want to make another one. So that's cool that they're
Right.
giving a shot to make another one, and it's definitely like we're at the end of the Switch. This is like the best time to put it out probably too. It was like hey, like you're gonna have the biggest audience possible for this type of thing. Like if this would have come out the first year of the Switch 2, what the fuck is this? It kind of limits your audience too. It's like it's a very limited audience. So you want to put it out in the biggest market you got. So hey, good for them for doing it, and taking a chance. And I doubt it was like a they probably didn't have a huge budget in it. So I bet that's got to like do a whole lot to actually make his money back. So moving on, I'm gonna move this. I had another no what I'm gonna do next, but I'm gonna put that at the end because that's gonna tie into what you've been playing, Gables.
Mm.
Um, sorry, one second here. I'm trying to move show notes around here. Okay. So Gables, unfortunately, I know you're really bummed about this one. Halo, the TV show was canceled.
I thought I would be a bit bummed out by that, but at the same time, I never actually watched a lot of the show. I
Okay.
actually did. I actually did have Paramount Plus for a time, but I, from what I've heard, that the first season is so terrible that I never really had interest in going into it. But it sucks though because the Halo franchise in and of itself. I mean, you would think it'd be like kind of a straightforward thing to do
Mm-hmm.
for like a TV show. I mean, all you need to do is just go through some of the story points for like Halo's lore, like the fall of Reach, like the events of the original Halo Combat Evolved. I mean, all the stuff between Master Chief and the Arbiter of like, and like, oh my god, the Hive. I think it's the Hive Mind or something like that. In like Halo 2, then like all of a sudden you have like the events of Halo 3 and all this other stuff. I mean, what I'm saying is there's a lot of story things to go off of for like the Halo series. But yeah, they decided to go a completely different route, Paramount did. And with that, taking a lot of liberties in terms of like Master Chief and all that other stuff. But I'm sad that that series actually ended. But at the same time, I mean, it doesn't really surprise me,
Yeah. Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah, it does suck. Like, and we talk about this in the last few years. We've definitely seen like a lot. Like, this felt like the next big, like video games was like the next big market. Like movies and television, like execs were like, hey, we can. This is the next thing we can farm a lot of IPs out of, and this is gonna happen. We're gonna see like some blow up be hugely successful, like The Last of Us, like the Mario movie, and then there's gonna be like shit like the Monster Hunter movie, um, Uncharted. That's probably in between there somewhere, but I think it's close to like critically it's a shit movie, but like it did well in theaters, so they're gonna make another one. But
Mm.
yeah, like we're also gonna we're gonna see stuff like the Halo show, and this is kind of like man, it's tough too because I'm trying to figure out the timeline. When, I guess 2022. I wonder when they start filming because like it's so crazy to me. Like I wonder if they were concerned about like because like the major complaint, well like Halo was like Master Chief like had the helmet off almost as much as he had it on, and it's like I wonder if they were concerned about that. And it just kind of sucks because like you look at like like if they were worried about how like that might turn people off, but it's like man, Mandalorian came out around that same time frame, and like you have a great actor in there that wears the helmet the entire time. I think he takes the helmet off once
Mm-hmm.
in the entire show, at least in the first two seasons I watched. And it's like, man, that was a really great show that also had a character that was in a helmet the entire. Like, you couldn't see his face the entire time. So I wonder if they can redo things, maybe they've like changed that aspect of it of like, hey, like this works. People, you can do this, and like, yeah, like I'm not saying like Mandalorian's like fucking Succession or anything like that, but like they made a good show based off lore that worked out. It was pretty positive. Um, I wonder. And it's like the whole weird thing with him. Like I don't want to see his ass. That was weird. I didn't like that part. Like that was like the one thing that I think that came out season one was like the meme of Master Cheeks and not actually anything else but the show. Like that was the only two things I heard about. He never wore the helmet and you see his ass. It was a sex scene. It's like really. Um, I did check out I did watch the like shortly before season two came out because remember we did a live react to that season two trailer, and I thought it looked pretty good. I mean, obviously, trailers like built to like show it like be as good as possible. Obviously, it's marketing, but still, like like this looks promising. And I remember you seemed pretty positive on it. Like they even kind of tease like the fall
Yeah.
of Reach, and then from my understanding, like I could be 100% wrong in this, I know, but like someone didn't watch season two, but from my understanding, like fall of Reach happened, like but it didn't happen in the show. Like it just happened off like they just like it happened, but they didn't show it. So it was like off camera fall recap, like the biggest thing in like the Halo universe they didn't do on the show. So I don't fucking know.
That's a huge missed
Yeah,
opportunity.
not, like I said, I could be wrong, but yeah, and like it wasn't like the show was it was a very expensive show. So like I wonder like I don't know maybe it's at the point it was so expensive it wasn't worth putting more money into doing it. But like remember the other thing I was seeing was like they tried doing this like a Halo scene, like straight like CGI, but they try to make it look like it was from the video game, and like it just looked pretty bad. I did watch the
Oh yeah, Halo Legends.
what?
I think it was like Halo
Well, no, in
Legends. I think that
The TV
was.
show they did this.
Oh, they did the Dead in the TV
Yeah, there
show.
was like a
Holy crap!
big battle, and like they tried to like do this like they tried to make it look like the CG like the CGI like trailers from like the early Halo games stuff like that, which like is like cool
Ugh.
for like the fans. I guess it's like one of those things where like it's probably a lot of fans watching it is like the main audience are going for, but it's like I don't know, kind of like if you're not like really into it, like if you're just trying to watch shows like an outsider, I don't know. It's one of those things where I just felt like they tried to like. It's a tough thing that like when you're it's a big IP like this, whether it's a book or a comics or a video game, like it's kind of tough. Like you want to do things that kind of like the inside like the big fans will know and get like the little teasers in there,
Mm-hmm.
but also like not turning off the casuals that are just watching. It's like it's like sometimes like when I'm a big fan of like a lot of the MCU movies, and it's like sometimes I'm like I don't get like what this is. And it's like you listen to someone like that knows the comics is like, dude, you don't get this. I'm like, no, it was like that was like I don't know. But anyways, going on a tangent there. But I did watch the first like few episodes. Like they put them on YouTube like right before season 2 started. Like I've probably just like a last like big like the entire first season on YouTube. Like get more people to watch it, especially on Paramount where it's not like a. I don't think they have a crazy amount of subscribers on there. So um, I watched the first few episodes and it's like it wasn't like I don't know maybe because like my standards were like the bar was so low. Like at least those first 3 episodes like it wasn't like awful. It was just like it was honestly worse. Like it was just boring. You know, it's like it was
That's the worst that it could be.
yeah, it's like playing like a video game that's just like it's like a 7 out of 10, but it's not even like a crazy fun 7 out of 10. It's just like I don't know, it's like 7 out of 10. I'm gonna like it's like I'm just gonna forget about you know like when
It's passable.
yeah yeah, but maybe it's like Halo show's probably closer to like a 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10. You know, but it's not like just like I can't believe a train wreck bad. It's just like this is just boring bad. Um, so yeah, like I watched like in one sitting and I was like I think I'm done with this. I gave it like kind of the rule of thumb with TV shows is like give it 3 episodes, and I did that. And I'm like, I'm done because I really was like I really wanted to give it season 2 a shot because like it seemed like the buzz and from what I understand like season 2 was a lot better. They're getting better, but like I think it's probably one of those things where it's just like it's probably just better off to just like just reset this. They did say they're gonna try to like they're trying to work with people to like um, like someone else pick them up maybe like a Netflix or maybe put it on television or something like that. I don't know, but yeah, I think it's better. I don't know. Like I feel like maybe it's just better to let this one go and wait a few years and reboot it and just like with a wholly totally different like cast and stuff like that. Honestly, I almost rather them at this point maybe they're better off like we've seen like a lot of success with like Netflix and some other shows like just do like an anime
Mm,
um and like figure like I don't know fucking find like a really good anime studio, maybe you can make a great anime out of it. I don't know. Like, I feel like there's a lot of fans out there. Like,
right.
yeah, you eliminate you're not maybe getting the biggest audience. Like I get like that's probably what Xbox and Microsoft was hoping for is like, like Last of Us and Cyberpunk, and you see what those shows are like what do for like when you have a really great or like The Witcher. Like we see what happens when like a really great show or movie comes out of these IPs, it makes or like Fallout, like earlier this year, like we see like what happens, like all of a sudden they have, like they get a nice boom to the video game franchise, and they probably want to be more of like a big boom, like more, bigger success, more successful, more broad appear, but I don't know, like
I know when it comes to something like that, personally, if they tried to do that route to where they may wait a couple of years and try to reboot or some like a Halo series or whatever, I kind of hope they would go to like say the studio Skydance because I know a lot of the animators over there are like pretty much veterans from like the whole things with Disney
yeah,
and stuff.
I think Skydance just buy Paramount though?
I think so,
So
yeah.
I don't know if I don't know if that's gonna happen.
Who knows,
Yeah,
dude? Who knows?
yeah. I mean,
Crazier things have happened,
yeah,
but I'm just saying maybe this Halo series would be better off as like an animated series, like you were saying.
yeah.
You know?
My thing is like if you try to come back to their live action TV show, like even say it's been a few years later, I wonder how many people are gonna like because nowadays you might wait 2 3 years for a show to come out for the new seasons to happen. Like
Right.
so there might be a lot of like there's like people like us will know it's a brand new show, but I'm sure a lot of people will like it's season 3 or something. They don't realize it's a totally different show. Maybe they like get confused by it. So it might be better. It might be take a while and like maybe do some like other shit. Maybe I don't know. Like it's just such a bummer because like I know like they're like the hardcore fans and stuff like that. There is like a great lore there and a great story to it, but like I think for like the mass audience, like you don't even have to really have a great like a really really great story. It's just like just make it focus more like make it more of an action
Yeah,
show, and then like
that's all you need to do.
yeah like focus more on the action and stuff like that, and then like I don't know I don't think it's like I'm not trying to like poo poo the story of Halo, but I don't think it's like I'm not saying it's I don't know I just I'm not I don't want to piss
The story was sort of like a cherry on top because the main meat of like Halo in general, it's like a heavy action style
yeah
of game.
yeah yeah, it's like the appeal of Halo back, was playing with your friends and like doing online and like co-op and shit like that. So, yeah, I feel
Hmm.
like you just do like a make a really good, make the action as good as possible, and like you can, we've seen that we see that works. Like you just do a good job of that. Like maybe make the story more of a put that more in the back burner. I don't know, but it's just a bummer. Like I said, it's a big bummer because we see how big and successful these shows and movies have been in video games. And it just kind of sucks that one of the biggest, out there, kind of, shit the bed on it. So, but hopefully,
Mm.
I don't know. Hopefully they can turn around and come back and do it. Yeah, it'd be nice to see Xbox or Halo have a win. Feels like it's been a long
Yeah.
time since, like, I know like Halo Infinite came out. We both really liked it, but I don't think it was like as big as a win as we were hoping it would be. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, Next up here, though, Gables, is pretty exciting for us. Yu-Gi-Oh! Early Days, which is something that was they announced earlier this year, back in February. Konami did. We got some more details on it. Yu-Gi-Oh! Early Days it's gonna be like a collection of old Yu-Gi-Oh! Games. We don't know exactly which consoles. It sounds like it's gonna be mostly handheld, but we don't exactly know what's gonna be in the bundle either. But we do know it's coming to the United States. It's now for pre-order. We got like a little bit of details on this. So we know Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters for Battle of the Great Duelist will officially be on this, coming to the United States or worldwide. This is the first time that game will be available to play outside of Japan. Um,
Okay.
yeah, and then also we do know that they had another game in there, but like I looked it up to figure out what it is, and basically it came out. This came out worldwide, but the rest of the world it was called Yu-Gi-Oh! Worldwide Edition: Stairway to the Destined Duel. Uh,
Okay, so that was the first Yu-Gi-Oh game that was on Game Boy Advance,
yeah,
essentially.
yeah, and
Yeah.
that one was like the Battle City. Um,
That one was like a precursor to like World Championship, like 2004.
yeah. Before they started doing like the annual versions of them and stuff like that. So
Yep. Yep.
yeah, so we don't know how many more is going to be on there, or how many there will be, or what will be there. But so far, I think they announced another one for Japan, but it was like another Japanese only one, but that one was not confirmed for the rest of the world. But yeah, I did double check to make sure which one, because I played it, like I bought all of those there for like a good, like we got like, it's crazy. I remember we went back and looked them up, and like there was like we were getting like 2 or 3 like Yu-Gi-Oh games a year on these fucking handhelds
Yes, we
for,
were.
because I was only a fan for like 3 years, and it was like maybe 3 or 4 years. So I only made it like halfway through season 3, and that's when I fell off of Yu-Gi-Oh, and I probably played like 7 or 8 of these Yu-Gi-Oh games. I was like, man, I can't believe how
Oh,
many I
dude.
played. So I'm excited for this. It looks like it's gonna be $50. We don't have a release date. It's supposed to come out. It's supposed to be sometime this year. So far, it only looks like it's confirmed for Switch. I'm sure they'll be coming to other platforms. But it looks like we're at least getting a physical version, which is kind of cool. Um, I don't know, Gables. Like, how excited for this, and what are something else? Like, what are some other games potentially you would like to be on this?
Okay, so for excitement level, I mean, it's all right at the moment. It really depends upon what other games they add to this type of bundle. I mean, they're already putting forth like certain Game Boy games that didn't relate stateside, so that's a good start. But personally, I kind of want to see more than just the handheld portions of it because there are definitely other like Yu-Gi-Oh like games that I would love to see bring back to modern consoles and then kind of reworked to some extent to make it a little bit more accessible, a little bit more like modern like modernized in the sense of convenience factor, really, if anything. And I know there's like a couple games that I could think of, like say Sacred Cards. That's
Yeah,
one that I could think of.
not,
Or Sheaf of Destruction. That one also I would like to
isn't that a
see, but
sequel to Sacred Cards?
yes, it is.
Because there's three. Is there a
Yes, it
trilogy?
is.
There was like Nightmare Troubadour. Was that the?
Nightmare Troubadour was like a different
Oh, okay.
thing. It wasn't like anything to do in terms of the story that was in Secret Cards, like Sacred Cards or Reshief. It was his own separate thing. But I would love to have Nightmare Troubadour as part of that set. That is one of the best DS games because you were able to go on that game, play the Battle City like tournament and stuff, but you were able to get great cards. Some of them were not even available until like the first time and stuff. So as far as other games and stuff, that'd be kind of interesting if they included the old like games for like PS2, Xbox, GameCube, or something of that sort. But
Falspawn
that's
Kingdom.
kind of like Falseborn Kingdom. I actually hear is pretty decent
No,
in comparison to
no,
some of the other offerings that
no.
Yu-Gi-Oh had for stuff like the PS2 and the
I played them all.
Xbox.
They're bad. It's bad. I've talked. I think I've talked about you with this before, but like, I got Falspawn Kingdom, and I hated that game at first, and then I went back like months later because you're a kid, you have nothing else to play, and like I think I replayed it. Like there's like 3 different story modes, and they all are the exact same mode. You just play from different point of views, and
Yeah.
I played through that game so many times, And I didn't like it, but it was just like it's Yu-Gi-Oh, and I had nothing else to play. But it's not a good game. Even like a 12, 13-year-old kid, I was like, this sucks. It's bad.
But I'll tell you one thing that I would look forward to actually wanting to play if they made some adjustments to would be Forbidden Memories, the
Mm,
PS1 game.
mm.
There's a reason why, because this is so radically different than some of the other Yu-Gi-Oh games that they have released that are more traditional and sort of like the card game now. The reason why I would like to see that like revisited is because I would love the aspect of just including certain adjustments, especially when it comes to like card payouts or something like that when you win certain matches. Maybe a little bit more explanation in terms of like say how you confuse certain monsters in order to create like powerful monsters, or like what type of cards you can have in your deck when you go and you reset or whatever. But what I'm saying is, yeah, Forbidden Memories has been one of those Yu-Gi-Oh games I've always wanted to beat because I always got stuck at that like the second to penultimate last
Oh
battle in the
God. Oh
game.
okay.
Because here's the thing, dude, it's like I never beat that game because I couldn't get past Gate Guardian for for like the second to the last boss of that whole game. And what's kind of hilarious about it is that very last boss in that game kind of reminds me of Macho Man in
Jeez.
terms of his look and design, which is really hilarious to me because I would have been like, oh, well, there's some inspirations behind this. But I would have, I just want to play that game and able to just go and just beat that game without having to grind through the PS1 version of it like I did using a fucking Game Shark. I don't want to use a fucking Game
Yeah.
Shark. I want to play this game and actually want to beat this damn thing like I want to
I bought a
do.
Game Shark just because of this game. Like just to play it. Like it's still, even with the Game Shark, was like what the, it was like. I think FromSoft, like the people that created that studio, probably played this game as children, and then that's why Dark Souls exists, because of that fucking game.
The thing about it is like they don't explain how the fusing system really works or like the elements and stuff, like which ones have like,
Yeah,
well, at least they don't explain it well in
it's a
terms of
fucking
which ones are
kids
strong
game,
against
and
others.
it's
Yeah,
like
it's a kids game, and here you're left to try to figure out like, okay, why are these certain signs here addressed to these certain cards? Why is this one stronger than this one? It's like some of
yeah,
these aspects didn't make any
it doesn't
sense,
follow the
but yet
rules of
when
the
you got
game.
the, yeah, but when you look at guides, you had a chance to really absorb with the stuff. It actually can be somewhat fun to play.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's just me. I just want just the basic Game Boy stuff that I used to play as a teenager and stuff, and then just have like forbidden memories.
yeah, yeah. For me, like, um, I think you're right. Sacred Cards, like those two games, for sure would be the ones I want to play, because I definitely love those ones as kids. But I've always preferred the ones that like kind of follow the rules of the game more so than like
Yeah,
the big reason I didn't like Forbidden Memories is because like I wanted like an actual one based off the game. Um, so and I'm excited for this too. Like a because like what was the one we had like 9 years ago that came out that we still play on PS4?
oh yeah, that's like
Duelists of the Legacy of the Duelists, is that what it is?
yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's Legacy of the Duelist, dude. Yeah, we still play that game off and on. Like even like God, has it been like over 10? No, it hasn't
It's
been
like
over 10 years
2015, I
since that
think,
game.
when it came out.
It's 2015, so yeah, it's getting close to about 9 years now.
Yeah, like
That game is really fun.
yeah.
As a matter of fact, the game that preceded it, before they did their whole free to play stuff and stuff with dual like master duels and stuff like that, that's like for sale for like $10 right now, like on PSN.
Yeah.
So that's the one that has all the DLC, all these other stuff and stuff. I may pick
Oh,
that up,
yeah.
honestly.
They just put out like the one. Yeah, like they basically charge you more for the same game again.
Yeah, because that's an egregious thing that they did with Legacy of the Duelist and stuff. Is that they all this DLC content and stuff. They don't bundle a lot of that shit together and stuff, and so you're paying like $10 a fucking
I
chapter or some
I ended
shit.
up buying, like, they put them all those DLCs on sale a while ago for like two
Uh,
bucks. So I just bought like the two or three that I wanted for like the that follow the original series. I bought those ones for like yeah, it was for cheap. But they're literally, it's literally like one, like two duels each. So it's a major ripoff. Um,
yep.
but yeah, like I love, like, major reason I love that A is because it actually, like I only like the original. I didn't even finish the original series. So like I just want, like, I like that aspect of it. You know, like that was the stuff I understand. Like I tried to play some of them since then. Like there's that one in 360, like the 5Ds one. That one was also fucking incredibly hard and challenging. Like like the first turn, like your opponent would always have like 5 cards on the field, and like to all be super overpowered. And it's like how am I supposed to do this?
And what was hard about that, for like, the 5Ds one with like the Decades Duel Plus or some shit like that on
Yeah,
Xbox, like Xbox 360 and PS3, the payout for certain cards and stuff, you would get hardly shit,
yeah.
and that's what made it incredibly
And they
hard
put
for
out
that
DLC
stuff.
where like you can buy packs of cards and buy collections and stuff like that. So it was all bullshit. Like, I think it was all bullshit.
It was all bullshit.
Yeah, it was like I'm already paying $15 for this game. On top of now, you want me to buy your fucking DLC? Remember that was the reason why Jake, that was one of our original hosts, his Xbox account got banned was because he was rigging the game to get all the cards. So because he always wanted to play online with me, and I hated playing online with him because he had all the cards, and it was like,
Yeah, why would you want to play against somebody that have an unfair advantage like
yeah,
that?
yeah, no, he always wanted to play online with me because he thought it was fun because he could just destroy me. Like this isn't fun for me, you know. Like I don't mind, I'll lose, I'm fine with that, but like let's make it like it's not fun when you have all the best cards and I'm, you know.
Exactly.
Anyways, um, yeah, just like it's so hard to like. It seems so easy to like. I love like even like the Pokemon trading card game. Like I would love to like actually just be able to like pay like 20-30 bucks and just give me. Let me just like do like a little story mode off the actual game. That's all I want instead of like
Right.
the free to play stuff or the shit like we see them like we see them do and with other things as well. But I think yeah, having like stick cards stuff like that on it. The big one, if this is on it, like you could just put this on it, and I like the Dungeon Dice Monsters. If that's there, I'm buying it. It could just be the one game, $50, I'm in. I don't even care. I love that game. I fucking, I was. Why are you laughing at me, son of a bitch? Don't laugh at me. I love that one. That game was great.
I love it how you just like kind of bust my chops, like, oh, no false Kingdom or anything else like that, but like, this is Dungeon Dice
But that was a
Monsters.
good game actually. There was actually a game there. Falsebound Kingdom was like this really shitty fucking like battle simulator game. Like, yeah, that game was like Falsebound Kingdom was legitimately a bad version of that game. Dungeon Dice Monsters is actually a pretty fun game. Dude, I was so into Dungeon Dice Monsters, I bought the physical fucking like sets for that thing. That's how big of a deal that shit was to me. I know what to play with. I just play by myself. But mostly I did the same thing with the Yu-Gi-Oh games, anyways. Card games, yeah. But yeah, like that's kind of really what I want is like, um, I don't really care for the console ones necessarily. I guess I'd like to give Forbidden Memories maybe a shot again, because like, I do have like some fond memories. Because I remember like as a kid, like like especially when I was like really really young, like me and my family didn't have a lot of money, so like if I got like a video game outside of like Christmas or my birthday, like it was a big deal. And I remember like it had just come out, and my dad like full price bought me that game. I remember like being at a
Nice.
GameStop or no, what was it? Before GameStop, Funko was it Funko Land maybe even?
Oh,
Uh,
yeah, there's Funko
yeah, I think
Land,
it was
but
Funko
there's
Land.
EB Games as well.
No, we didn't have EB games. We had Funko Land.
Oh,
I remember like being at a Funko Land, and my dad's like, "Do you want that?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Go ahead and grab it." I'm like, "What?" It's crazy. And then I felt bad because like the
mm,
game sucked, so it was like impossibly hard. So yeah, it was, but yeah,
right.
it'd be kind of cool from that aspect, I guess, of like trying to give that a shot now as an adult, maybe understanding the game a little bit more. Like you said, understanding the strategies, but I'm over for this. I can't wait to see what's on it. It's Konami, so I'm waiting for them to like bungle this whole thing and be dumb. I don't really care for like. I'm not super like enthusiastic for playing some of the Japanese ones. I get like why people would be excited for that one. I just want. I'm just. It's like Yu-Gi-Oh for me is just like the Pokemon stuff, where it's just like it's more nostalgia than anything. So. I just want kind of want to fill that gap for me of like nostalgia I have for those games because I legitimately like playing those games. I like playing the card game. So be cool to check out. And like just doing the Battle Cities tournament. All right, and Gables walked away right as I was getting ready to go to him. So we're just gonna skip ahead to some other news this week. Not like I said, not a lot going on this week in the world of video games. Um, so let's jump into some other news this week. Crash 5 it apparently was like really really early on in development, and we don't know how. Like it sounded like it was kind of like still in like the process of like like doesn't sound like there was much work done to it. Like still like the like figuring out what they're going to do with it, and that was eventually canceled. Um, so I mean, kind of a bummer there. This happened before though. Like Xbox, Microsoft was going to buy them, so this wasn't like an Xbox thing. This was during the Activision days, before when Activision was still its own company. Um, Splatoon 3 will be doing its last Splatfest in September. Um, I think that would make it 3 years since it came out. I think it came out in like August September 2021. So Was that? I gotta look it up now. That's wild to me if that was 3 years ago. That doesn't sound right. Splatoon 3 release date. Wow, September 9, 2022. Even that feels like a really long time ago. I'm surprised by that. But they did say they'd support it for 2 years. So yeah, that makes sense. And they're going to do that. So yeah, kind of a bummer, but hey, whatever. They got 2 years out of that game, so not too bad. Um, Next up here, Gables. Chibi Robo devs are back with they're back making their own spiritual successor called
Huh.
Co Robo. Um, they are doing a Kickstarter for this game. It's basically a Chibi Robo game, but obviously they don't have the IP. But it's like the original
Right.
director and co-creators and co-founders of that studio make spun off to do their own game. And there's a little Kickstarter going on right now for it. I believe for the next month. I cannot remember how much money looking out for it. I'm gonna look it up here. Korobo. Yeah, for Tiny Wonder Studio. Um,
Okay.
so it hasn't. Oh, it's launching July 22nd. So
Okay.
yeah, so yeah, they're doing that. No, I'm on this Kickstarter page. There's not a lot of information here, so um, I'm trying to. Yeah, okay. I was hoping like maybe they gave some details like how much money you're looking for and stuff like that. Doesn't look like there's any. But yeah, I don't know. Like I was not a Chibi Robo guy. I tried playing them back in the day on GameCube, but I just like this is not a Tyler thing. But how you feeling about this one, Gables?
Well, I'm happy that they're going to try to do something alongside of like a spiritual successor to Chibi Robo. But as far as my interest in that series went, I mean, I never really had too much of an interest for Chibi Robo because this was like during the twilight years of the GameCube before the Wii came out,
Yeah,
right? And that was like one of the only big games that remained on it. Then I tried like say, okay, should I get into it? Should I like want to play it or something?
yeah,
And it was just basically one of those things and stuff to where it's like it just didn't appeal to me. You know, I mean, you're recharging your little robot, you're doing all this other stuff, but yeah, I'm just trying to bait this little guy in.
oh, you're all right.
It's my freaking room.
Get the doggo.
But other than that, though, I mean, I'm just happy that they're going to try to do something that they want to go forth and do in terms of a project. I hope they're successful, and I hope that it spans like a game that will maybe be even better than what Chibi Robo was.
Yeah, yeah. It's cool to like kind of see these old franchises come back in a way where like otherwise wouldn't happen. So that's pretty cool. Um, Other news this week though we got here college football 25 like I mentioned top of the show is back
Yeah,
in the early access period. So it came out Monday afternoon, and but officially launched Friday. In those 3 days,
right.
2.2 million people played the game before the official launch. So
2.2 million.
yeah, so pretty awesome, pretty incredible there. Um, but yeah, pretty cool. But Gable, some pretty exciting news here for you.
Yeah.
SNK slash Capcom. We got a shadow drop for that one. This is based off the 2003 arcade game. It is out
Oh
now
yeah.
on Steam. It's coming on Monday, July 22nd, for Switch and PS4, and it is only $20. So you were mentioning that you've been playing it a little bit today. I know
Yes.
obviously Evo's going on right now, so a lot. There's usually we get some big shadow drops. You mentioned there was some like DLC and stuff like that being announced for the game. And there was like some rumors earlier in the day that the Marvel versus Capcom would actually get shadow dropped. Instead, it sounds like we got a Capcom fighting game, but unfortunately, fortunately for me, I was more excited for the Marvel one. Obviously,
Well, yeah, obviously.
yeah, it was the SNK versus Capcom instead. Yeah, I honestly completely forgot this even existed, so I did not see this coming. But Gables, like you mentioned, you've been playing it. Tell me what you think and what are your thoughts on this whole thing?
All right, so like to rewind back, I found out about this announcement while I was on my lunch break today at work. SVC Chaos, that's a game that was a collaboration, I think in the 2000s, the early 2000s and stuff between SNK and Capcom. The game in and of itself, from what I've had a chance to play it so far, I know I never played this game back in the day. I don't really have too much nostalgia for it. It's actually pretty interesting, though. I do like how characters feel. They're kind of a little bit more weighty. You know, they kind of feel like they have a little bit more like weight behind them in terms of their like performing attacks and like other stuff of that sort. There's like a set of like I think it's 16 different characters you could. No,
36.
I think that's 36. Thank you.
Hmm.
It's 36. It's 16 per side. I want to say,
That'd be
but
32 then.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Between like yeah, Capcom and SNK fighters and everything else like that. But yeah, yeah, Tyler's correct in that regards. But I've had a chance to try out a couple different characters, like say with Ryu, with Chun Li, with Terry Bogard in my Shiranai and stuff. So two from like each side and stuff, and they retain a lot of their various moves and stuff. It feels good in terms of the gameplay. There really hasn't been too much issues I've had with say input lag while trying to execute certain combos. I did try it with like an Xbox Series X controller. I kind of feel like I'm going to switch it up to the Switch Pro controller because the D-pad's better on that. But I had a chance to play the arcade mode with Terry Bogard, and yeah, that game can get fairly tough. I mean, yeah, this game can be fairly tough. I fought against two different characters like Balrog and then Vega. Didn't really have too much like luck against Vega and stuff because of his aerial attacks and stuff. But it definitely feels like harder fighting game that I'm kind of used to in some aspects. But I've had a lot of fun with it so far. It has a lot of a lot of the basic like some other fighting games do have. Like you have the various practice modes, you have things you can do versus and stuff like standard type of things. The biggest tout that this that when SNK presented this in front of their whole their end of their whole like announcement stuff earlier on today is it's touted to have rollback netcode. I have not tried any of that stuff yet. May wait a while before I try doing something like that because I do not want to go immediately into a fighting game that's been around for over a decade and then try to play competitively with that when I barely know the game. I mean, that's not a fun time. But when it comes to the fun factor of it, I'm enjoying it so far. I mean, I don't really have too many issues with it. It's just a lot of me getting used to the controls and also me getting used to the certain mechanics. Like there is a certain guard, like a certain guard cancel sort of thing that I'm trying to get a handle of, because you have to press the light and the strong punch buttons like that together when you're executing certain moves, and does sort of like a almost like a flash cancel sort of like in some of the Street Fighter games to where your character kind of flashes like a white sort of like flash color or something like that, and then it goes into a different type of setup move or something that you can do to try to extend certain combos. But the music sounds fine. I haven't really noticed any type of like compression issues or something in terms of the music sound or in terms of the graphics, like any type of issues with that. It seems like a pretty faithful port. Obviously they did some touch ups in terms of making it more modernized, obviously with the rollback net code and like like uh with other like type of elements as well. But it seems to be a pretty competent game, and I'm rather happy to finally be able to experience this game because I've always been sort of like an outsider looking in some of these other collaboration games that are not like MVC. So yeah, it's actually a pretty fun game that I would recommend people that are into fighting games that really would love to give it a shot.
All right.
But yeah,
Anything else that you've been playing, Gables?
let's see. In terms of other stuff that I've been playing, I've been playing a little bit of Retro Bowl stuff. Obviously, going to my franchise mode and winning going on my sixth straight like a Retro Bowl like championship in of itself with San Francisco and stuff. Just trying to get the means of like balancing the whole financial stuff. Like finally able to increase the salary cap for some aspects to allow to extend certain contracts of players. That's been pretty much a big focal point. I just want to increase the money amount so I can keep higher paid players longer than say 2 or 3 years, because that does become an issue when you draft a rookie and you want them around for a while, but you have to extend the contracts of say your coaches that are doing well, or have to extend the contracts of like say some of your other star players to make them consistent. It could be a bit of a challenge, and this game has light sim like type of features with that, but it really isn't overwhelming to a sort to where I can't like get some grasps of it. I mean, after close to about 50 hours, I think I'm pretty much enjoying this game.
Yeah, yeah, I'd say so.
But okay, other than that, I'm trying to think of what other types of games I've been playing other than Retro Bowl. Well, I did try out like a couple of other games on my Switch that I've downloaded, but I hardly ever get a chance to play. Like, there's this one game called Name of Splasher, which is like this little indie, little miniature like game that kind of reminds me sort of like it's kind of like similar to that of like Super Meat Boy in some aspects, but you have to go around and like navigate through certain obstacle courses and stuff and try to get to an endpoint while trying to save all these like guys in their chemical outfits and stuff, like some of your coworkers or something on your way to like the end of the level. Like there's like 10 people you have to save per stage and stuff and try to finish. Or if you don't want to go through, just go right for the front and the finish. You can do that way. And I think about it, there are definitely quite a bit of indie games that I can think of that I have on my Switch that are sort of similar to that as Super Meat Boy. Slime Ranchers, like not Slime Rancher, but like Slime Song was definitely something like that when I played last week. Splasher is sort of similar to that I'm playing this week. Both of them you can find like almost like pennies on the dollar on sale fairly often. So they are pretty fun games, mind you. But I would definitely wait for like a sale for both of them, especially if you've already played through like some of the bigger indie games, like a Hollow Knight, like a Hades, like a Celeste, or a Dead Cells, or you know what I'm getting at. It's like if you've played through some of the major indies stuff and you want something that's kind of like a little bit under those, not like say worse in quality. I'm just saying like something that's sort of like a side game or something that you could play in between like some of the other big games that are coming out you want to play. Yeah, these those type of games like say with Splasher, with Slime Song, yeah, those type of games you probably can get into, probably spend a few hours just dinking around with it and stuff, and then probably enjoy some aspects of it. But other than that, that's pretty much what I've been playing this week.
All right. Well, I mentioned at Top Show. I'm playing a couple games, but the main one I've been playing. I'm already 28 hours into it. Like so much, I've been playing the shit out of it. I've been playing college football 25. If you've been a long time listener of this, like it's great to think the last time um, this this game came out was the first year we did this podcast in 2013. Um, yeah, like I've been a gigantic fan. I was a much bigger fan of the college football games, growing up than I was of the Madden games. Um, I kind of felt that way all the way. Pretty much, probably to the end of that fan. There's probably a couple years where I prefer the Madden over the college football for the most part. I've always been, especially with like the Road to Glory when that kicked in like the latter half of like the 2000s and stuff like that. Been a gigantic fan of that. Play them every year. Like just loved everything about it. Especially growing up here in Iowa, and we don't have obviously any like major sports team like in the state. And we're pretty, like around here, it's like a lot of Kansas City fans. Probably the Kansas City fans are like the biggest ones growing up, but like it's Bears, Packers as well. Get the fucking shitty Cowboy fans, stuff like that. But you're gonna have those. Yeah, like anyway, so I think that's like a big reason why probably I was a bigger fan. Like even also growing up though too is like I was way more into like watching college basketball and college football than I was. Like I watched all of it, but I was like way more into the college side of things growing up as well. So it's funny. Like I was thinking about this recently of like kind of like my fandom of like college sports has fallen off as obviously you're getting older, you have less time. You have to like as you get older, think you gotta start cutting things out that you enjoy. You gotta focus on like okay, you start finding out what's more important to you as you get older. Luckily, I don't like. I guess not weird, luckily, but I don't like as far as like my time thing. I don't have any kids. I don't have I'm single, so I have a lot more time to play video games, and I have a lot more time to have hobbies. So like, but even still, like growing up, you have work and all that fun jazz. So like back then when I was younger, I didn't have I was early 20s back then, so I had even less responsibilities back then. So I had a lot more free time to like dabble into these type of games. Like I play several seasons of these. I do multiple Road to Glory with this. Like I always like pick some like crappy power team like like North Carolina or Duke or TCU or whatever, like some bottom team like in like one of the power conferences, and like bring them up with my quarterback and like make them really good, and like also like do some fun offenses and stuff like that. And like that's part of like what I love about like these games is like one obviously it's more regional. Like obviously I'm playing the Hawkeyes in like my dynasty, but also just like I love the recruiting aspect of it. Also, you're constantly refreshing. Like as much as I love Madden, and like I love like the nitty gritty stuff of like my franchise of like control the franchise, signing the quarterbacks, like or signing my players and win the trade play. Like, I love like running everything in the franchise, but like but you usually have the same players pretty much throughout my entire year. I'm going to play against the next one comes out. There's like the main players I'm going to keep around. I'm going to keep Jordan Love. I'm a Packers fan. I'm going to keep Aaron Rodgers, whatever. In this one, it's like you got 3-4 years with them, and that so you're constantly refreshing and like and always like it's kind of fun because it adds to it as well. Like it make it's kind of, like every time yeah you're playing the same game over and over again, but like things change every season. It makes it more exciting. Obviously, like the main thing they like I want to back up a little bit here, Gables. When I got to that fucking goddamn, I was there hitting that button over and over again, 3 o'clock my time Monday, waiting for that thing to go fucking live, and I finally got in, and I like probably a few minutes later, it was kind of frustrating at launch because like I think within like 7 seconds of the game launching, they announced that the fucking servers went down, so it was a nightmare. Even though I bought the MVP bundle where you get I have EA Play, so I have Game Pass, so I have EA Play, so I got like I got the MVP bundle that gives you Madden and college football for $135, which is cheaper than if you would have bought them separately, actually. And like on top of that, you get like it's the $100 editions that you're getting for cheaper. So I definitely I did that. So you have like so if you have EA Play or whatever, you could play it for 10 hours for free without actually owning the game in that early access point. Um, so it was kind of frustrating at launch for like people like even though I owned like the premium edition, um, you know, like it was still saying I didn't have the game. I had to use the EA Play trial, which kind of sucked. But like,
Oh,
luckily they fixed it on Tuesday because I went through that 10 hours with by end of day Tuesday. I'd already gone through the 10 hours, so luckily they fixed all that. But it was a little frustrating at launch. Like I always do like even though I play Dynasty by myself, I always do the online like our franchise. I always do the online mode because usually the updates throughout the year for those modes. You'll get those updates into your mode. Uh, I did that like normally like when you do online with like Madden and you get disconnected from the server, it just kicks you out. And then like when you get back on the server, it'll take you right back to where you were, and it's awesome. And this one I played. I was like on my second game. I played my second game. Everything seemed fine. I got back to the main menu, and it's like you lost. I got kicked off the server. So like I didn't save anything from that game. So I said just fuck it, and like the servers were down. So they did say you could play like offline. So I just started. I'm doing an offline dynasty mode. I'm already um, midway through my second season. I'm having a blast with this thing. But man, I gotta say though, when I got to that main menu for that first time, and you heard the fucking band playing, I'm not gonna lie, I was crying. I had tears rolling down my eyes. I was so happy. I got chills. Like it was just all the emotions hit me. I was so happy. Like I didn't think I'd be this happy when like really up until like the last couple like month or so when like they finally actually started seeing some gameplay. They started like showing us some like features and stuff like that what they're gonna do with this thing. Because like I started was like I really hope it's not like um, a Madden skin, and that's I mean technically sure it's a lot of that, but like there's always like a lot of little minor differences like to the gameplay that made it feel a lot more that made it feel more unique than Madden. And this definitely like it has that like just they really nailed like the atmosphere of like just if you're watching on television or if you've been there like I've been to two Iowa games, I've even been to an Iowa State game, and it's like going to like Kinnick Stadium in Iowa City. They nailed like the atmosphere. I mean like that. The only thing that would make it perfect was like if they had access. Obviously, I know it's like I understand why. If they actually had like access to like the licensed music, because like Iowa comes up the back in black, or like man, I'd love it if like I go to like Virginia Tech and play there, and they come out to fucking Sandman, or like I think like Penn State comes out to Mobamba and shit like that. Like there's like some like man like there's some like they do the entrances like everything like going like I played a game and I went to Clemson and played a game in the Clemson and they do the run out like with Howard's Rock and all that like. I'm like growing up a huge college football fans like man they'd always kind of like they have some of it but like not fully like on the PS2 and like even like the 360 era like man they like there's 134 schools and they got all of them right. Like nothing feels generic. You go to like Utah State, the mountains are in the background. Like I said, Iowa, they have the fucking Children's Hospital right across the street.
yeah.
You can see it. They have they have the water tower up there at the end. Like so in Iowa, like at the end of every first quarter, everybody in the crowd, all the players, and everything waves to the kids watching, in the children's hospital, and like they do the wave. They even have the fucking song that plays when they do the wave. I'm like, this is fantastic. Like, man, I was like, started crying again at that point. I'm like, fuck yeah, this is amazing. Like, it's like more like even like yeah, even if like it was like like the skin, like a lot of reskins of the Madden game, like just like the little things they did in this are just fantastic. And there's definitely like more things a little more like frustrating that they're missing that I would love like they have like it's kind of disappointing when you go like look up records like the actual like college records like you don't they don't have the individual like they used to have the individual schools now they don't have they have like the conferences they have like the national records they don't have the individual schools and like I feel like a lot of little things are missing you know, like or like when they do like they show the sidelines, you don't see the coaches. They don't like they used to. I believe I think I remember them having the actual coaches in the game. This one doesn't, and I wonder if that's just more of like a you have to like probably pay all the coaches uh,
Most likely.
separately, which I guess it's it kind of sucks, but I get why. I'm sure like some of those coaches probably want as much as they're making nowadays. Not a lot of them are making $10+ million a year. They probably want some money for this. So like I think the players are getting if they opted in, they get $600. They get a free copy of the game. Like they get the premium edition, the $100 edition of the game. So
Huh.
yeah, so it's kind of cool. You know, it's cool that they make a little bit of money off this thing. But yeah, it's been pretty funny like going online just like reading about like a lot of people like man like I played my first game in Dynasty and in the game they've always had like there's like the division below like FBS there's FCS which is like basically used to be Division 2 now it's just like Division 1 like I don't know like AA I guess I don't know what you want to call it it's basically it's a tier below the main one um but like usually like the big schools will pay these schools to like the big schools will pay them to come like six figures to come and play them and just basically get the shit kicked out of them. And it's like a tune-up game for like the big schools and stuff before they actually really start this. It's a borderline preseason game basically for the big schools. Um, so like the first game for Iowa, like they don't actually have like those real schools, so they have like FCS Midwest, FCS East and West, but they're like all the players are like ranked in like the 60s, like they have a 60 overall rating, and it's like it's a cupcake you're fighting, man. The legend of FCS Midwest on the internet is huge right now. Like everybody is like they're like the fucking Elden Ring of goddamn college football 25. Like, dude, I played my first game. They dropped 31 on me. Like they do this like spread offense and they just do a no huddle the entire way down the field. Like they were doing no huddles. They had a tight end at running back, doing running plays, and like I dropped 70 on them, but they were dropping 31. They dropped like I couldn't stop them, and it wasn't just like they're dinking. Dude, it was just bombs. They're just throwing fucking like doing guys wide open, running past. I had like 90 fucking my 90 overall, high 80 overall cornerbacks and safeties, and they got fucking 67
Huh.
wide receiver, and he's just blowing past these fuckers and like beating them on slant routes, shit like that, like just big plays over and over again. I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah, so because I always play like Madden and stuff like that. I always played on like the highest. I always play like Madden on the highest setting, and like I used to play like Heisman was the highest setting on college football, and I immediately jumped to that. And I shouldn't have. So I dropped it down one because like I tried playing the next game, and like I couldn't stop fucking nothing. Couldn't stop shit. I was just like gaping hole on defense of just everything was getting by me. I'm like, all right, I need to like drop this down because it is insanely hard. Like they definitely made the defense. They made it like a lot. Like you can like I'm putting up a lot of points, but like they're like scoring, they're matching my scoring. So but it's really great. Like the big things like I really love too of like the game itself. Obviously like I love the recruiting. I love all this stuff. Now like real life kids are allowed to transfer, which is nice too. So it's kind of cool. On top of that, it's another thing you gotta deal with. Where, like you bring a player in, you tell them like, hey, you're gonna play right away, and then like or you tell them like you're gonna play soon or whatever, and like they end up like like now they're they're juniors and they've played a fucking lick, and it's like now like you can actually see like a little meter. It shows like players that might transfer. Like it shows like it can kind of build for like not playing time. There might be other reasons why they might want to transfer, but it's something kind of cool. And like when I was like you have to use like a lot of times to like for recruiting, and I definitely did not like I definitely I'm learning as I'm going. Definitely should have like read a tutorial on this fucking thing because I just started going, and a lot of like I just put a lot of time on like a handful of people because you have like 35 scholarships you can offer a year. By the end of the season, I only like had like 16 players recruited. So I'm like, oh shit, I have like I could barely feel like I had enough players to fill a team, but I'm like, goddamn, like I'm gonna be like like obviously these players are gonna be a big deal in like 2-3 years from now. So like I'm definitely learning as I go. And the nice thing too, like because I missed so many players, like I missed out on so many players, um, early during recruiting from high school. Now this player's transferring, I was able to like fill in the gaps of like players like I needed, like are like at my like Iowa like this year is gonna have a lot of like seniors, so they're gonna like majority of that team is gonna be gone next year. So it was kind of great, like cool. Like I was able to I got the transfer from fucking quarterback from Arizona State, and he's awesome. Um, I got a wide receiver from Nebraska. I got like Iowa State was there's actually this kid from he's a I think he was like the Mr. Iowa football a couple years ago here from he's here in Des Moines, and he wanted to go to Iowa, but Iowa even like they admitted they kind of bungled that whole recruiting process. He went to Iowa State. He actually was a transfer, and I'm like I threw everything I had, every point I could to get this guy. And now I got him on my team. He's fucking awesome as well. But man, like I just love like this like playing when I'm playing the game like. I think part of what makes it like so much harder, like like when you're controlling the defense, like they can get down the field, is like the movement is so fucking nice and smooth. It's like the way like you can like this the way like you can like you just turn on a dime so fast. Like juking has never felt so good. Like I'm like stiff arming or like just like the player movement feels really really nice. Like that's like you get to like because like sometimes like when you play Madden or whatever, you kind of like it's gotten better every year, but like there's definitely been times where like you feel like a tank sometimes. Like I really feel like as this like 190-pound running back, I should have easily been able to like maneuver around this like 240-pound linebacker, and like now you're doing in this game. Like I think it's a little bit why maybe the playing like even like playing on like, as the defense, it's harder to stop the offense, and this is because of that. This is how like the player movement is like trying to learn it a little bit because like man, they're so fucking like it's like trying to tackle like grease up deaf guy or something. Um, but yeah, like it's I'm so happy with this thing. I'm loving it. It's there are things that are missing, but it's like they nailed the things that are important. Like the gameplay is great. The atmosphere is probably number two, and then like there's the recruiting and all that. Like I feel like the things that are missing, will I think it's gonna be stuff to add later. Like I feel like, but this is like man, like I think for the first time out, the biggest most important things they nailed them 100%, and it's like like yeah, like I'm so happy with this thing, and like yeah, I'm loving it. It's been fucking fantastic. Yeah, it's everything it's everything I wanted and more. Um,
Nice.
but yeah, there's one other thing I'll be playing. So I talked about last week, Gables. I was like 8 hours into Persona 3 Reload. Um,
Yeah.
I'm losing a little steam on it. I'm only 25 hours now into Persona 3 Reload. I wish I would like. I've been thinking about this a lot. Like, man, like, because I've been home at work. I've been home off of work because with my injury for the last like month now. I guess. Wow, it's crazy. And I was like telling myself, I'm like, man, I wish I started this like a week and a half earlier because like I really got into it like Friday, and then college football came out on Monday, and like so I only had a few days to really get into it. It's like man, like if I would started like maybe like a week and a half earlier, I probably could have like I don't know if beaten it, but I've been a lot further to the end than I am. Because like it's
Right.
definitely like I'm still playing it like a couple hours a day. It's kind of been like my nighttime game to play. Like I'll because it's definitely like be able to like you can get through a lot in like a short amount of time. Like you can get through a couple weeks in the game and like like an hour, give or take, how much you're doing. Um, but I did was kind of scared, almost kind of scared me off from the game. Gables is like I was looking up a guide because I'm like there's certain things I'm like getting confused about. So I was like looking up guides, like trying to understand things, and I accidentally saw how many levels there are in the Tartarus. And I'm like, oh my god, this game! Like, I knew the game was big. I did not realize like how fucking big. I'm not gonna spoil for people, but like, so I'm like in the high 60s, like on the level wise. I hit like the next block. I did beat the third. I've beaten the third main boss. I'm like like towards the end. I'm basically where we are like in the real world. I'm like in like July like 18th or 19th right now. So I've almost I'm pretty much caught up to where we are. Like I think it's the 21st now.
Right.
So I'm a good way through because you start off in like early April. So go way through. Like I said, I'm still enjoying it. I like the characters a lot. Yuko and I are now dating, which is great. That's fantastic. I'm a rank 9 with her. I've got another guy like a Miyamoto. I'm like rank 8. There's like there's so many like random ass characters you meet. Like there's like they don't even tell you. You can just like find people and start social links with them.
Yes.
And I went to like there's like a little park I went to, and there was like a girl there, and I brought her food, and now we're friends. And I'm like, this makes me very uncomfortable. I'm like, I'm not gonna interact with you anymore. Like, like we go to I meet her at the park and we play, and then I took her, I bring her food. I'm like, this feels inappropriate. Like, I don't know if I could be, I don't know if I could be in for this. I'm gonna probably, I'm gonna have to, I'm gonna skip this one. There's like another guy. There's like a guy that like he won't be friends with me unless I bring him alcohol. I'm like, this seems problematic. I don't know if I want to be friends with this guy either. I'm another guy that's like a fat guy that just wants me to bring him food as well. Um, like I feel like I'm just bringing a junkie drugs at this point. There's a few though. I'm just like I don't really care to like interact with you. So I'm focusing on some. It's definitely like I've definitely seen from a lot of people like when I do like kind of read some guides, it's like try to get a better understanding. Like because like a lot of days like there's like 4 or 5 people I want to hang out with you. I'm like how do I like divide? Do I just focus on some? Do I divide and conquer? You know like what am I supposed to do here? And I'm reading some guides and it's like yeah, I'm like, I'm just gonna have to like, it's a little overwhelming because everybody's like, don't, you can't waste a day, you can't waste a time frame. I'm like, I kind of regret like looking up guides. Like I was telling you last week, I'm like, I'm gonna make some mistakes, along the way. And I should probably, I kind of wish I would just went in almost like kind of like, just did it the way I thought I should do it and play it the way I wanted to instead of like trying to like, how to like min max this whole fucking thing, and yeah, like so I think I'm gonna kind of focus on that again. Just that's kind of what I'm mostly just like interacting with like the social links of the characters I actually care to talk to. And I know that's probably not the best way to do it. Probably not the best way to handle it. I know I could probably get more out of doing it other ways, but like I think for like my enjoyment of the game, instead of like making it feel like work, which I tend to do sometimes when I play these bigger games. I kind of go overboard on side quests stuff like that, and I feel like I have to do this, I have to do that. I'm just gonna try to make this game as fun as possible for myself and just focus on things I care about, like getting in a relationship with Yugioh, which was a major thing for me. I definitely like. I'm really enjoying the characters. I'm enjoying the story. I wish there was more like the animation is fantastic, and I wish we got some more like the animated cutscenes because when we get them, they're great, but they're so like a lot of them like you go like hours in between them, and then you get them, and it's like like a minute long. I'm like,
Yeah.
damn, this is great. I wish we gave me more of these. But yeah, like I'm still enjoying it. It's like my first time playing these Persona games, picking up on a whims because I'm stuck at home and I got nothing else to do. So, but yeah, it's been pretty fantastic. So I can't wait to jump into it. I did like I said, not only did I see the how many levels are, I got a general idea how far out the fucking calendar goes. I'm like, oh, good lord! I'm like, it's long. This game is long. I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna like. I was thinking 60-ish hours, and I don't know if this might be closer to 80 than 60-ish. So
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, no, I'm enjoying it quite a bit. So I'm gonna keep playing it and playing more college football. And I don't think I have a lot coming out for the next couple weeks. So it's good because I think Madden and SteamWorld Heist 2 come out like I think it's like mid-August. So I got a couple weeks of nothing else major coming out that I want to check out majorly. So yeah, that's all I've been playing. I think that's gonna do it for this week, guys. So if you enjoyed this, please like, follow, subscribe. We're on everything podcast service wise. Look for us, Drunk Nerds. You'll find us on YouTube as well. Like, follow, subscribe. Leave us a comment. Share with your friends. Tell us you're out there. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. We're on those places. So there's links down below if you want to like just find us on those places. That'd be great. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I was your host. I was Tyler.
And I have been Colonel Gables. Until next time, everyone, thank you for listening to another fun filled episode of the Drunk Nerds podcast.
Hey, Gibbles.
Yeah.
Too sweet.
Too sweet, man.
Bye, guys.
See ya.